Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Today, I want to talk about this specific quote that I came up with, and that is your power circle will make you rise or fall. Your power circle will make you rise or fall. Now, what is a power circle? A power circle is a group of individuals that contribute to your success. No man or woman's an island. And I've always said that people make the difference whether you like it or not. That's a fact. There are some people who are lone wolves. I naturally have lone wolf tendencies where you just feel, you can do it yourself, all that kind of stuff there. But eventually you're going to need someone. Or you are depending on people, but you're not necessarily giving them the shine or light that they deserve. And then there are other people who are over reliant on people, and therefore they don't get anything done because they're listening to so many different voices. And so you need a power circle that is going to resonate life and energy into you. That's the whole point of having a power circle. And so here I want to talk about the importance of it, what people typically have, what you need to look out for, and all that kind of stuff. Then, of course, I have my handy notes as per usual. So the question you want to ask yourself is, who do you spend the most time with? Okay. Are you spending your time with individuals who are really filling you with life? Okay. So think about your friends, your family, your colleagues, all of those different types of people. If you believe you don't have any friends at the moment, you're still spending time with people. Okay. And if you're not spending time with anyone, then it's thinking to yourself, how can you spend more time with people? Do you need to be more drastic in your measures? It doesn't necessarily, resolve or revolve you sort of like having money to spend in order for you to be around people. Maybe you have to think more drastically. This could be going to church or places of religious study. This could be going to the park more and speaking to strangers potentially. This could be going to your local, I don't know, sort of like extracurricular activity places or centers or whatever it may be. Think outside the box. Of course, there are paid opportunities as well, such as networking groups, meetings, events, educational seminars, all of this kind of stuff there. But we're talking about power. And so when we're talking about a power circle, usually the person who wants that power circle is ambitious by nature. They have a goal that they want to achieve. And therefore, they're going to be around people who are of that type. They don't have to be alphas or sigmas or all that kind of stuff there, but they need to be individuals who are A game, who are ready to do what it takes in order to achieve, but they may need the right people in order to do that. Okay. Now, when you're around your current people, your current power circle, whether you have one or not, everyone has some level of power circle. How do these people make you feel? Do you feel inspired by them, or do you feel deflated? And if you're feeling deflated, that says enough. Some people are like, well, I don't have a choice because they're blood. Well, blood is thicker than water. Is it? That is the question that you need to ask yourself. I'm just closing an app. That's the question you need to ask yourself. So what if it is? What was the point of that saying? The point being made is it needs to make sense for you. So how do these individuals make you feel? Because how they make you feel will determine what step you need to take in terms of the values that you have as an individual. And one way to really judge sort of like the promise of these individuals is to be clear about what your values are. Let's say, for example, you have top 5 values: respect, trust, ambition, joy, and maybe peace. Do these people exude some of these values already? How do you know your values? You know this based on your past experiences, how you felt, what you did, and what positive things came out of that stuff that you want to take into your future. Okay, so think about that stuff. So once you've thought of all of this stuff, you then need to start making decisions. But before I do that, talk about that stuff, I want to talk about the different types of people that every single person has. Okay. So you've typically got somebody who challenges you and allows you to stay accountable. I'm typically that person. I like to elevate individuals. And so they're not going to let you go. Some people avoid me because they are scared based on the questions that I'm going to ask them. And it's not because I want them to fail, trying to get to the triple. It's because of love. It's because of care. It's because of care. You want them to do well. Hence why you hold them to account. But if you recognize that you're avoiding these people, there's something that you need to think about for yourself. Do you really are you about this game? Sometimes you don't need that pressure. I get it. Sometimes there are different ways in which you can angle stuff. But there is always going to be somebody who tries to elevate you. The second thing is, do you have people in your circle who reflect back your values? Yeah, nah, do you know what? I love talking to you, I agree. I hear you. I hear it. They reflect it back. These people are your codees, they're your dogs, they're all of that kind of stuff. They're people who connect with you because you see yourself in them and they see themselves in you. And as much as sometimes we need confirmatory sort of like bias, it may not challenge us enough to understand what gaps or holes we may have in our life because they agree with a lot of what we're saying. And so they are positives to have, but maybe you need a bit of that challenge. The other sort of person is almost like the dead weight. Okay, so they're around because of the fact that there's legacy based on how long you've known each other for, or you feel bad letting them go, or whatever it may be, or maybe they're blood. Okay, but the point being made is they have jealous tendencies, 100%. They may potentially feel a sense of fear, so they hold you back from doing things, or they're just too comfortable. And so with that comfort, you get comfortable, and so you don't really achieve anything. And you have to be careful these people because they may portray sort of like elements of love and care and wanting to engage or pretending to engage in in front of other people or wherever it may be, but really and truly behind the scenes they want your downfall. They may not even admit it to themselves, but deep down they want your downfall. And so you have to be careful of those people because they want to hold you back. Sometimes it's not that they want your downfall. Sometimes they are just really reflecting their insecurities. They wouldn't do certain things and therefore you shouldn't do it. Why would you do that? No way. That is not powerful. That's weak. And so you need people who are going to imbue power into you. Okay. Then you've got people who are just noise. You never guess what. Did you hear what happened to Terrell? Oh my gosh, really? These people are chatty patties, as my friend would say. Chatty patties. They will be gossiping, drama, this, that. And sometimes you can get drawn into it. Sometimes they even throw negativity. And it's just like, why are you always hearing this stuff? You know, there are some people who talk about people, some people talk about events, and there are other people who talk about ideas. Eleanor Roosevelt said that. And so thinking about all of this stuff, as much as sometimes, yeah, man, I'm here for the banter, I'm here for the entertainment, it's not every day. It's not every day. So you need to get rid of those, not, I wouldn't say get rid of, but maybe minimize and or occasionally see those people who are providing that noise. Unless they're on it, okay? It's different. And then there's people who are just not present. You might as well call them Casper because they're just ghosting you all the time. So they pop up, occasion here and there. You message them, nothing. They're on their goals. They're doing what they're doing, blah, blah, this and that, even though whatever. The point being made is that if they're not present, it's fine. Just keep it moving. It's not that deep. And so you have to recognize different people that you can utilize effectively when it comes to your power circle, okay? But also you need to also provide benefits yourself. And so here are some signs you're in the wrong circle. I've written some key points. You play small to fit in. I will never forget. There was one friend I had one time who says they, sometimes they lesser themselves or they make themselves a bit whatever in order for those around, them to feel comfortable. I said, what? Be yourself, man. Free your mind, as my friend says. Free your mind. I get the thinking, but they should accept you for you also. Why do you have to change? There are compromises we have to make. I get it. There are compromises we have to make in relationships. But if you started off not being your authentic self, or at least doing a high level of self-monitoring in order to fit in, what insecurity do you have potentially? So that's one thing. In addition, you may hide your wins. And I'm guilty of doing this sometimes, for some people within my circle, there is an assumption that I'm going to do well, I'm going to achieve X, Y, and Z, but they don't see the work behind everything that I aim to do. And so because sometimes those assumptions come into play, I don't like to share my wins because I don't want to be seen as somebody who's just doing well, whatever it may be. People see the wins, but they don't see the stress that, well, I don't cry as much. I'm going to say the tears, the hypothetical tears, or, the anxiety, all of this kind of stuff. They don't see that stuff. And still, even though you get a win, you're not celebrating it. My friend once said to me, another friend, celebrate your wins no matter how small they are. Celebrate them. And I felt like that gave me permission to be a bit more celebratory when it comes to doing well at something or achieving something, no matter how small. So don't undersell yourself. The other thing is, you feel like you can't speak freely about your vision. Oof, this is a big one. Think about it like this. How many friends in your circle do you openly talk to about your plans for the future, your vision? Not feeling insecure or that they're going to copy or take something or not rate. How many of you actually share your vision? You see, some of you not. Some of you are like, yeah, but really, truly. And this comes from the fact that there is a lack of trust. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I mean, that's down to you. They're your friends. You get to decide what that looks like. But that says enough in terms of what you're willing to share. And so your power circle, okay, enables you to feel like you can be yourself and share your vision the way you need to share it. No energy surrounding it. That's the difference. Because if you're speaking from truth and authenticity, this is where you're likely going to excel. If you can't be open, it's not going to work. Like I said at the beginning, no man or woman's an island. The next thing is there's no mutual growth. You'll do this, that, and then that's that. I've got an accountability buddy with a good friend of mine. We've been friends for years. And we started our accountability sessions probably 6 months ago. I've had accountability buddies over the last couple of years. It's been almost a decade, actually. It may be a decade. Close to a decade. Maybe 7, 8 years or so. But from the jump, we didn't know where we were going with stuff. But there's been growth. Money's been made. Social presence is improving. There's just an all-rounder personal development aspect to it. Like, there's been growth. So I can say that is somebody in my power circle. Whereas I've been in situations where you're doing the whole accountability thing and you're just trying to get stuff done because you've got the next call and you don't want to, mess up whatever. And there's no real growth. It's superficial. So this is what I'm saying. Ambition is important if you want to surround yourself with the right people, the right power circle. What is the right power circle to have? Let's get into it. So the first one is, and I speak about this before, okay? This whole idea of intelligent consistency. I think that's really important. What does this mean? It means that these individuals are helping you make intelligent decisions based on the questions that they're asking you because they're holding you to account, thereby making sure that whilst you are doing what you're doing, regardless of how you feel, you are making smart strategic decisions moving forward so that you get closer and closer to the vision that you're aiming to achieve. And this is why you have to have people that you feel comfortable talking to your vision about, because they speak the right thing into you. So they need to imbue this element of intelligent consistency. The second thing is they help you process problems strategically. And this comes down to effective questions, powerful questions, active and deep listening, making sure that you provide the feedback so you understand what may be working for you, what may not be working for you. Looking at data, understanding this stuff. Strategy is the approach that you take in order for you to get unique value for a person or group. That's what it is. It requires analysis, planning, and implementation. And these individuals should help you do that in some way, shape, or form. You also share a level of resources, knowledge, and access. And a lot of people like to gatekeep. There was a time I felt a little bit like that, because I felt like I was providing all this information, and hopefully you feel this way through the YouTube videos that I'm providing, but I wasn't getting anything back. It's like, oh, you're a Christian. Oh, yeah, just provide it and value will come. For what? When I'm feeling empty all the time. So your power circle, there is an element of, if you feel like you're the Oga or Onya, so the person in charge, the chief, whatever it may be, when it comes to sharing information, you've met your match. If anything, they're a bit more, and so you need to level up a little bit. Do you have that person in your circle, or are you that person? Are you solely that person? Assess yourself, man, I rate my friends out of 10, based on my values. I do it. Based on the season I'm feeling, okay, this one's a 7, this is a 4, this is a 9. Some people are consistent over the different quarters, and other people are just either slipping, rising, or the same. So you have to be able to share, because it's the genuine collaboration and coagulation of ideas and resources and knowledge that will allow you to grow. It will remind you of things that you may have forgotten. Really, really important stuff. But I'm not for just saying collaborating for collaborating's sake and then one person is just benefiting. That's nonsense. So this is why you need to assess the people well. Don't just assess anyone. And this is why it's important to know your values. They stretch your ambition. So they may even make you feel like whatever your plans are for the future is too small. Why aren't you thinking bigger, my friend? You've got it in you. These people make you feel this way. And so if you find people who are experienced and broad in their experience, professional and personal, who understand that there is an ability to have more, do more, and be more, who create exponential growth, not only in their personal lives, but for other people, why wouldn't you want some of that? Because of fear. Fear holds you back. So somebody needs to make you feel a bit scared about achieving what you're achieving in a positive light. Okay, it's not to put you down, but it's to stretch you, stretch goals, stretch ambition, stretch targets. And the other one is they normalize growth, discipline, and success. Discipline creates success. I'm telling you, discipline. So success is the only other side of your discipline. And so if they encourage this stuff, and I'm not talking about an aggressive approach, you can still be, flexy to a degree, but they recognize that actually, if you want to grow, this is your goals. If you want to grow, then there is a certain way in which you can do it. There are certain characteristics or traits or disciplines that you need to adopt in order for you to do this. And so if you keep on coming back saying, oh, I didn't do this today, oh, blah, blah. Sometimes I don't want to do a YouTube video, but I'm doing it. And so there's a certain element of discipline that they help to encourage. So the other thing I want to say is it's very important to make sure that you join rooms where your goals sometimes feel small, but you seek alignment with the right people and it feels like good vibes. So whether you create this circle yourself, you may want to create a mastermind group, accountability buddies, maybe you speak to these people one-on-one or whatever it may be. Find the right people. Proximity is power. It's really important. This doesn't have to be overly engineered. It needs to feel organic. You need to approach the right sort of person and people. You need to think to yourself, what value do I have for myself? So this was just a message to say, especially during this time, develop and create a power circle that empowers you. If they can empower you in 3 different areas, such as your money, okay, and or your career or business, your health goals, whether this is nutritionally, physically, or spiritually, or your personal goals, so whether this comes down to relationship, experiences, or how you maintain your home, then find those people and latch onto those people. Okay, yes, I know it's not everyday growth and everyday this and that, but we're in a season now where, if we make the right decisions, on the other side we'll be better off. 100%. Maybe there's somebody in this power circle who understands that, okay, the stock market is down at the moment. There's an opportunity to buy. It's not about timing, but it's time in the market. All of that kind of stuff there. Maybe there's an individual who understands that, okay, 600 million has been put into research within the UK, and therefore there's going to be contracts available for individuals who are within the healthcare sector doing digital transformation or data or research. Okay, that's another thing. Maybe there's somebody who understands that, okay, they've been in a relationship for the last 15 years and they understand how to navigate difficult or challenging situations with their partner. You latch onto that person. I'm not saying this stuff out of thin air. These are real people. These are real things. It's that insider knowledge. Okay, it's that care. It's all of that stuff. So hopefully this has given you some inspiration, some invigoration, and some encouragement to ensure that you check your circle and you create a power circle that makes sense for you, but you also need to make sense for yourself. Anyway, if you want to see more videos centered around portfolio careers, contracting, all of that kind of stuff there, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.